this meeting of the Enfield Aquifer Protection Agency open. Please rise. Pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Fire evacuation, I think all of us in the room know the fire evacuation out this door or out the side door here and down the stairs. There's no guests per se. And would the secretary call the roll, please? What do you have? Yeah, two got it. Yep.
Okay, Lou Fiore,
Here.
Linda DeGray,
Here.
Virginia Higley,
Here.
Francis Alaimo,
Here.
Kiran Majmudar,
Here.
Kenneth Helinski,
Here.
Vincent Grillo, absent, Christian D'Antonio,
He's also absent.
and Nick Lefakis,
Here.
and John Petronella is here.
Thank you. I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of December 9th, 2021.
So moved.
Motion made by Vice Chairman Higley. Is there a second? Seconded by Vice Chairman DeGray. Any discussion on the minutes? Any discussion on the minutes? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Well, it's only 4 that can vote on the minutes because the rest of us weren't members. Only Commissioner DeGray, Higley, Petronella, and Majmudar can vote on the minutes, and the rest of us have to abstain because we weren't part of the Aquifer Protection Commission back on December 9th. So 4, and everyone else abstains. Is there any public participation tonight for the Aquifer? I don't think so. There's nobody here. Is there any correspondence? Seeing none. Having said that, we're going to move on to the next order of business, which is the O'Connor versus Town of Enfield APA, docket LND-HHD-CV22 6150846-S. And if Secretary doesn't mind, I think I'd like to read this resolution. Privilege of the chair. Is that fine with you, John? I'll save you for the rest.
Yep.
Okay. Resolution motion for APA 20 and ARA 21. Whereas at its December 2021 meeting, the Enfield Aquifer Protection Agency APA approves certificates of registration limited to fleet vehicles for properties at 15 and 25 Dust House Road. And whereas the applicant filed an appeal of the approval in the matter captioned O'Connor versus Town of Enfield APA docket LND-HHD-CV22 6150846-S in the Superior Court of Hartford. And whereas it has been brought to the attention of the APA that the limitations on the approvals exceeded the APA authority. And whereas the APA wishes to properly discharge its duties under the general statutes and application regulations. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Enfield APA moves to issue certificates of registration for 15 and 25 Dust House Road, which remove the limitation to fleet vehicles, in exchange for which the plaintiff will withdraw its appeal, captioned above and herein. Is there a second on the motion?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner DeGray. Discussion on the motion. Any discussion? I think the only thing I'd like to add is,
Excuse me, Chair.
Yes,
Who
sorry.
made the motion to approve?
I'm sorry, is there a motion to approve?
So approved.
Approved by Commissioner,
So moved.
moved by Commissioner Higley, seconded by Commissioner DeGray. Thank you. Thought I had done that. Apologize. I think the only comment I would like to make is that, unfortunately, this was something that was done by a prior commission. Accidentally, however, we have a new configuration of this board. As everyone knows, it started in January, and we've learned a lot about aquifer protection. Unfortunately, I think that board did try to also, some trying times. So having said that, I think this is proper to approve, and we'll take a roll call vote. Mr. Secretary, whenever you're ready.
Yep. Okay, Lou Fiore,
4.
Linda DeGray,
4.
Virginia Higley,
4.
Francis Alaimo,
4.
Kiran Majmudar,
4.
Kenneth Helinski,
4.
and John Petronella is 4.
Having said that, it was 7-0, 4. Any discussion, anything else for the Act for Protection? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn the Act for Protection Agency.
So moved.
Motion made by
Second.
Commissioner Higley, seconded by Commissioner DeGray to adjourn the...
Excuse me, Mr.
I just want to make sure that I'm not sure why our attorney is not here. She was supposed to be present. I know her car's out there. And Mr. Lindequist? I'm sorry, I just want to make sure that everything is
Yeah.
completed. Did you have any
Yeah, go ahead,
comments?
Mr. Lindquist.
Oh, good evening. I didn't know that. I didn't know if you needed me to speak or anything. I was just here to make sure that the resolution. I represent Mr. O'Connor. I did speak to Attorney Elsden. I think it was yesterday or the day before when she was kind enough to set up this remote access for me. And I don't believe she was planning on attending, having prepared the resolution and I had reviewed and approved it.
Maria is in the building or not?
Excuse me, Mr. Chair.
Yep.
In the meantime, did you have any questions for the applications or anything about aquifer protection? Okay, just making sure.
So Attorney Lindquist, just give us a second. We're just seeing if Maria's here.
Take all the time you need.
We have to call the meeting back to order. She wants-
I don't, we never took a vote. I don't think she's going to want to talk. Yeah.
Well, you guys already took the vote for the
Yeah.
docket, so.
It's
Yep.
not her car.
So a motion was made. So a motion was made to adjourn. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Unanimous. Thank you.
I'm
That's
sorry, who seconded that?
Commissioner DeGray.
Okay, so you guys are so fast. Ginny, then DeGray, okay.
Yep. So we're all set. We're going to adjourn this meeting. Thank you, Mr. Lindquist. You should be all set now. Thank you very much
You guys
for your
really-
patience.
really
Thank you
tested
much.
tonight.
We're adjourned.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you.
We ready, Lori?
Yep.
I call this meeting of the Enfield Planning and Zoning Commission open on Thursday, April 14th at 7 p.m. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Fire evacuation announcement. Excuse me. In case of a fire, there are two ways to exit this chambers. There's right behind everybody, out those doors, or out these doors, and then down the hall, and then outside. And please remind you, in case of emergency, please walk as far away from the building as possible. Will the secretary please call the roll?
Yes, Louis Fiore,
Here.
Linda DeGray.
Here.
Virginia Higley,
Here.
Francis Salimo.
Here.
Kiran Majmudar,
Here.
Kenneth Helinski,
Here.
John Petronella is here, Vincent Grillo, absent, Christian D'Antonio is absent, and Nick Lefakis.
Here.
Let the record show that 7 regular members are here and 1 alternate. Before we do approval of minutes, I would, as chair, would entertain a motion that someone would please add the minutes of March 10th to the agenda.
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Higley,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner DeGray to add the minutes of March 10th to the agenda. That was tabled at last minute. I would ask someone to make a motion to take those minutes of March 10th off the table, please.
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Higley, seconded by Commissioner Alimo to take those minutes off the table. First of all, it was my asking last week, the last meeting, that those be put on tabled, and it was my error. The statement about the transfer of the paper road was in the minutes, and it never should have been tabled, thus we never voted on it, so I do apologize for that. I missed that in the minutes. So is there any discussion on those minutes from March 10th? Any discussion?
Nope.
Seeing none. All those in favor of accepting the minutes of March 10th, signify by saying, raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye. Let it show it as 7-0 for approving the minutes for March 10th.
So just for clarification, Commissioner Lefakis did not vote?
I don't,
I need to know who voted,
yes, we all voted, yes.
but there's
Yeah,
8
yeah,
people.
yes, you were here, yeah.
Should I vote for those?
Yeah, for the minutes, yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Commissioner
So
Lefakis.
there's 8 people?
Yes.
So that's why I'm,
Yep.
thank you.
Yeah, certainly for the minutes, the alternates can vote on that, absolutely, anytime. Okay, minutes of March 24th, is any discussion on the minutes of March 24th?
I had something.
Okay. Commissioner Lefakis, go ahead.
On page 6 at the bottom. This was public hearing 3030. The last 2 lines, Gurav Bishnal, 24 Park Avenue. We checked the address, and it's 158 Spring Valley Road, Park Ridge, New Jersey.
Okay.
That's all.
So would you like to make a motion to amend?
The
Yep.
minutes be amended to reflect the complete address.
Complete new address that you just stated.
Yes.
Is there a second on that
Second.
motion?
I second.
Seconded by Commissioner Helinski. Any discussion on that motion? Seeing none, is all those in favor of accepting the minutes of March 10th, 24th as amended, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Let us show that it was unanimous that we accepted the minutes of March 24th as amended. Moving on, zoning enforcement report.
We never
Oh.
approved them. We never approved the minutes.
Yes, we did.
just amended. Oh, never
We
mind.
approved them as amended.
I'm sorry.
That's all right.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I'm a little bit.
Zoning, that's all right. Zoning enforcement report, is there anything, I know Rick's not here, we did receive this. Is there anything you want to add on that, Lori, or? No?
No, sir.
Okay, everybody did get the zoning enforcement report, okay? Town attorney report, same thing, town attorney's not here. Everybody did get that little brief outline of where we stand with some of those cases. Okay. Any questions on the zoning enforcement report or the town attorney? I suggest that you send an email to Lori, who then get it on the appropriate personnel. Okay, public participation, we'll move on to that. At this point in the meeting, the Planning and Zoning Commission welcomes comments, concerns, and opinions relating to planning and zoning in Enfield from anyone who is present, provided that no one may discuss any matter of business at this time that is already elsewhere on the agenda, any matter that is part of an open public hearing of the commission, or any matter where a decision of the commission may be pending. Seeing none, is there anybody who would like to do public participation? Is there anyone who would like to have public participation? For the third and final time, anyone public participation? Seeing
Mr.
none?
Chairman?
Yes.
At the last meeting, we had some questions from one of the residents, and I sent them to town attorney, and I will be responding to the general ones
Okay.
that are not site or application specific.
Thank you. Thank you for that update. That sounds very appropriate. Thank you very much, Lori. Okay, new public hearings. Will the secretary please read PH 3031, 33 Columbia Drive, please?
The Enfield Planning and Zoning Commission will hold public hearings at their regular meeting on Thursday, April 14th, 2022 at 7 p.m. in the Town Hall Council Chambers, 820 Enfield Street, Enfield, Connecticut, concerning the following application. Public hearing number 3031, 33 Palumba Drive, special use permit application to replace a pylon sign. Sign Techniques, Inc., Tracy Janik, applicant, Mancham LLC owner, map 73, lot 343, BR zone.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Would the applicant or representative like to come forward? Good evening. Could you just make sure the red button's on the mic and pull it closer towards you? Yeah, and if you could just identify yourselves for the record, please.
Good evening. My name is Tracy Janik. I'm with Sign Techniques of Chicopee.
Travis Ward, Manchem LLC.
Okay, thank you. Describe your application roughly. Thank you.
I submitted a special permit application to replace the existing pylon sign at 33 Palumba Drive. I do have extra prints if anybody doesn't have theirs with them. We will we're installing a replacement 70 square foot multi-tenant pylon sign, double-faced, internally illuminated with LED lighting. We're not moving any footings. Footings are staying. They're in good condition. Poles are staying, and we're essentially sleeving the existing poles and bases with new signage. We will be taking down the top portion of what's there now and replacing it with the new, as I said, sleeve. And as I mentioned, the ground will not be broken, so there's no harm to the wetlands that are around, even though I was notified that we're not in the wetland zone, but we are near it, so there's no risk in damaging anything in that area. Like I said, all new signage will be installed over all existing support structures. I have specifics on the signs if you need those. Tenant panels will be removable in case tenants come and go, as they normally do. LED, so energy efficient lighting internally. Am I missing anything that? Oh, yes. Because it's existing, it is already set back far enough that there isn't going to be any obstruction to traffic coming or going on Palumba Drive. And the sign will be high enough that there will be no obstruction there, just like it is. So we're keeping that open as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anything more you'd like to add, or?
I mean, I could keep going unless Travis has something.
Just one more item. 33 Palumba Drive is most popularly known as Firestone Auto Care Mall. And over the last several years, we've made significant investments from the outside facades and Firestone's upgrade of signage and such. And this is a continued part of the improvement of that area. So we're happy to keep investing in that area. It's a very nice property for us, and we're happy to keep improving the site.
Thank you.
If I might add, I did notice Scott's from the fire department, his notations here. I did speak with him on the phone, and his concerns of it not being numbered, I helped him be rest assured that it is going to have a large 33 Palumba Drive. Fire department will be able to see it. He was confusing our application with somebody else's. It was a rough week for him. So his note, I'm not sure if he updated the portal, to be honest. I didn't look, but he assured me that he was okay with what we were proposing.
Thank you. Thank you for that update.
You're welcome.
Commissioners? Any questions from the commissioners? Commissioner Helinski?
Yeah, I have a question. You mentioned the footings
Yes.
under the sign, and we had a note that said typically the building department requires new footings for a sign of this type, but the building department didn't respond. So
Okay.
have you done anything to look at the footings or evaluate them for the new
Yes.
sign?
Actually, one of my guys went out this morning and he checked them out, and everything is safe, secure, in great condition. Travis can second that because it is his property. He's out there all the time. He sees it all the time. Nothing is falling apart. Nothing is corroded. The cement is in great condition. Everything on there is top notch. There's no reason to touch it. There's no reason to replace it. There's no reason to dig and redo it. It's all in good condition, quality, structure.
And they're substantial enough to handle the weight of the new sign? I assume the new sign's probably a little heavier.
It probably will not be because it's all aluminum, and we're essentially just
Oh, okay.
sleeving the poles.
Okay.
It's
Sure.
literally going over it, and we'll sit just around it and it's very light. I can get specifications on the weight, but it's probably, in my opinion, gonna be a lot less weight than what's up there actually.
Just to add to that, the bases were back in those days over-engineered, probably by a multiple of 5. They're in this unit by the design, and I'm speaking as a supervisor, construction supervisor in Massachusetts, licensed there, but the load is much higher on this from a wind standpoint than it is on this one, believe it or not. It's very top-heavy where this is balanced. So, and then the materials are 5 times lighter than they were in the old days. So it's a lighter load and a more balanced load, and the footings are over-engineered by at least a factor of 3. So we're very confident, and they're in beautiful shape. So they did such a good job back in the day. Probably don't make them like that anymore. But the better ones are probably better than the newer ones. Thank you.
No problem.
I'm good.
Any other questions? Commissioner Fakis? Anybody here?
I have 2 questions, please. What is the height from the ground to the bottom of the first sign panel?
Minus 3, that's 21, minus 12.
Go ahead.
Minus 3, minus 12. I don't have the height.
10 feet.
6 feet 3 inches? Well, I'm thinking that this blue base is 2 feet, and it roughly, if this is proportional, it looks like it could be at least 6 feet, but I'm thinking about line of sight.
Yeah. I have 9 feet,
Oh,
and, right, so I have 9 feet, if my math's right. And, again, if you look at the photo, it's set back so far that it's even in the second half of a vehicle parked in a parking spot in the parking lot. So it's got to be 15, 18 feet off the street side. So visibility as a pass-through line of sight thing may not affect, will not affect the driver.
okay.
But my math is 9 feet to the bottom.
Thank you. And what hours will the sign be illuminated?
Dusk until roughly midnight, We do that on our properties. Our thinking is that nothing good happens after midnight. So you're probably not looking for Firestone after closing time at the local pub.
Thank you.
Commissioner Limo?
Yes, thank you. You said no digging, so I assume there's already power out there to that sign
Yes.
for the LED lighting?
Yep, we would retro it. Excuse me. Sorry, it would be retroed to LED bulbs. Are they fluorescent bulbs now?
They are.
Well,
Fluorescent
but the power's already there. You're not
Correct.
digging
Yep.
Oh, yeah, it's illuminated every night now.
I'm
There would be no-
trying to figure out why you guys are even sitting here, actually.
It's one of the easier ones you're going to do tonight.
Because we're following the rules and we have to submit all this paperwork.
I mean, it's.
Because the
existing, but
regulations
That's for something
requires
else.
it.
Type of the sign.
Because they said I had to.
Well, maybe we need to look at our
Okay.
sign regulations.
We
For
will.
people that have been sitting there a long time, like yourselves. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Commissioner Masvidar?
Yeah, I think the comment is more in reference to the commission and the regulations, that when we revise the regulations, let's pay attention to something like this where
Yeah.
we make it a little less complex for
Yep.
the applicant and
Yep.
people in general.
Yep.
Thank you.
Understood. Thank you. Mayor Higley?
I noticed the existing sign has red lettering with white background for two of them, and then dark blue background with white lettering for the remainder. Will the new sign, be all the same color? I think it'd be tidier.
That's an excellent comment. In the history of this sign is that each tenant, back in the day, but each tenant kind of did their own thing, most times without permission. All of a sudden you come back on a Tuesday after a weekend or something and somebody changed it. This is going to be uniform and completely controlled by the landlord. And if anybody changes it, they're in trouble.
Thank you.
But those sort of days of old.
If I could just interject, and in the future, with a tenant change, that tenant change for a sign reface would go through the building department and would be applied for.
Thank you.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.
Any other questions?
No, I thought in future it'd be all electronic. You don't need
Did
the
you
boards in.
Don't give us any ideas, Commissioner.
Everybody else has it.
It's true, it's true. Some people like the old school look still. They don't want all the flashy.
Okay, just hold on right there. Is there anyone in the public who'd like to speak for or against this application? Is there anyone in the public who'd like to speak for and against this application? Is there anyone in the public who'd like to speak for or against this application? Thank you. Seeing none. Is there any other staff or any comments or anything like to add to this application?
They're totally compliant,
Yeah,
as far as I could tell. Thank you.
thank you. Is there any more questions from the commission? Any more questions from the applicant? Okay, seeing none.
When can we start?
You'll find out in about 30 seconds.
Seeing that, I'll take a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Limo to close public hearing, seconded by Commissioner Majumdar. All those in favor?
Aye.
And I'll entertain a motion to approve this application.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve public hearing number 3031 in conformance with the town staff resolution dated 4/14/2021 with the 21 conditions listed.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Is there a second for that motion? Seconded by Commissioner DeGray. Any discussion on that motion? Any discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Secretary, I hate to bother you again. Roll call, please.
Louis Fiore,
Approve.
Linda DeGray,
4.
Virginia Higley,
4.
Francis Alamo,
4.
Kiran Majmudar,
Or
Kenneth Walensky,
4.
and John Petronella is 4.
The record showed it was unanimous, 7-0 to approve this application. Thank you very much. You're all set.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Good luck, the electronic sign next time.
You got it. See you in 10 years.
I'll see what I can do.
We have to add it to the regulations.
Oh,
By the way, you could apply for your permit on Monday.
Okay.
You gotta abstain,
Seeing nothing,
Mike.
when the secretary is ready, John, whenever you're ready, we'll move on to PH 3032.
The Enfield Planning and Zoning Commission will hold a public hearing at the regular meeting on Thursday, April 14, 2022, at 7 p.m. in the Town Hall Council Chambers, 820 Enfield Street, Enfield, Connecticut, concerning the following application. public hearing number 3032, 7 Angina Drive, re-subdivision application to divide the lot into 2 lots. Roby Realty LLC applicant, owner, map 82, lot 56, I-1 zone.
Thank you. Is the applicant and the representative here?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, for the
Hold on,
record.
Mr. Chair, I got to excuse myself.
Okay.
I've done a lot of work with both
Okay.
gentlemen before.
Commissioner Majidar, thank you very much. Before we start, having said that, I'm now going to seat our other alternate. Commissioner LaFakis will be taking Commissioner Majmadar's place for this application. Just give us 1 second to make sure Lori got that. All set? Yes, thank you. Okay, please identify yourselves for the record, please.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Again, this is Attorney Carl Landolina from Fahey and Landolina, 487 Spring Street, Windsor Locks, Connecticut, representing the applicant. I'm joined to my right by Roby Staples, who is the principal of Roby Realty LLC, who is the applicant this evening. So just very briefly, this is an application to re-subdivide a parcel that was part of an industrial subdivision years ago. Roby Realty is the owner of approximately 4.99 acres of property at the end of a cul-de-sac known as, I don't know if it's Angina or Angina. I like Angina better, I guess. Drive. There is a town right-of-way that extends in a northerly direction from that cul-de-sac as shown on the map that is reserved for future development in this area. Mr. Staples bought the property, and there are 2 industrial buildings that are located on the property at this time. And in preparation for future redevelopment of those buildings or sale, Mr. Roby would like to subdivide his parcel into 2. So there's going to be 2 parcels, and you can see on the table that they're about the same size. We are starting with 4.99 acres. One of the lots will be 2.55, and the other will be 2.44. Obviously, when it was developed as a single parcel, there was one driveway leading off the end of the cul-de-sac into the development. And so that Lot A, which is to the rear, will have a access and utility easement over that driveway in order to gain access to the rear parcel, Lot A. That's shown on the map as well. There's nothing else that's being done, no construction whatsoever, no activity outside. Mr. Roby has a tenant, I believe, in the building on Lot A, is that correct?
Correct.
Yeah. And they're going to be moving to the front lot at some point?
They're going to.
They're moving in the back.
The rear lot.
All right. So, and then, the front lot of the existing building there will be empty at that time after the tenants move to the rear lot. So I think we meet all of the requirements of your subdivision regulations, save one, which is noted in Lori Whitten's report to you. Because of the nature of the existing paving on the surface now, there's only one place to really, and you can see that we're surrounded by wetlands to the north, west, and southeast. I think I got that right. Could be the other way around. So the only place to really put that property line is where it's located, and that creates a need for a waiver for, I guess it would be landscaping in that area, generally speaking. So we're asking for a waiver of the requirement in your subdivision regulations. And some of you probably know about the McKenzie case. It was about 10 years old now, and it talked about the ability of a planning and zoning commission to issue waivers. That was a zoning case. It's not a planning case. This is a planning decision under the subdivision regulations, and the statutes clearly give you the right to waive any and all of your subdivision regulations. So we're asking a waiver for that. And beyond that, it's a fairly simple application, at least from the technical aspect. So we'd be glad to answer any questions that any of you may have.
Thank you. You're all set there for now?
I am, yes. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Open up commission for questions. Give them a second. I'll start. I really don't have a question, other than I did go out and took a look, because I was kind of a little confused about exactly where this lot was myself, and finally I realized, oh, it's in the back.
It's in the back.
It's in the back. So when I turned the corner,
Yeah.
and I actually saw the parcel you're talking about, you'd like to have subdivided, so at least I'm orientated now to where it is.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any questions from the commission? Want me to give you a second to review anything?
Mr. Chairman, while people are thinking, these sites are not autonomous. They will be cross easements and shared parking.
Yeah.
So, I mean, realistically, the only changes on paper, as Attorney Landolina referred to.
Yep. In the waiver.
And the waiver.
And the
but,
waiver.
But again, you're not going to see that.
Yeah,
It's still going to look like the landscaping is correct.
yeah, yeah.
Excuse me,
Mr.
Mr. Chairman, the frontage requirements is met with the right-of-way that runs through at the end of the cul-de-sac.
That's
and heads
correct.
north.
Yes.
So that meets the intent of the frontage
Yes.
requirements.
Right. That's an accepted town right-of-way.
Town right-of-way, that's.
Even though it's not improved at this time.
Yep.
So,
Yep, thank you.
We'll have another round of questions. Let me open it up, see if there's any public who'd like to say anything at this point. Is there anyone, why don't you guys just hold still? Because since there really is no public here, but I will ask 3 times. Is there anyone in the public who'd like to speak for or against this application? Is there anyone in the public who'd like to speak for or against this application? Is there anyone in the public who'd like to speak for or against this application? Seeing none, there hasn't been any questions. Jeff, staff, are you all set with your questions and comments, Lori?
I'm good, thanks.
Commission, any other questions? I do have to admit, I saw the lot. It is a little wet, I have to admit. I was quite taken back. Not that it has anything to do with this application, it really doesn't.
Yeah,
But I was taken back a little.
I mean, there are large areas of wetlands, obviously, on the site. And when was this built, Roby?
88, I believe.
Yeah, the wetlands regulations were probably a little different back then.
Yeah,
There's a conservation area in both of those pieces.
yeah, know the area. Okay, since there is no more questions from the commission or the staff, I will take a motion to close this public hearing. Is there a motion made to close this public hearing? Motion made by Commissioner Helinski, seconded by Commissioner LaFakis to close this public hearing. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Let it show that there was unanimous vote to close this public hearing. At this point, any motion to approve?
Do we need to approve the motion on the waiver?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so, Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve a waiver for the landscape setback to a side property line, as there are no site changes with this application.
So the motion's made to approve this application with the waiver, so stated by Secretary Petronella,
Second?
seconded by Commissioner Higley. All those in favor? A roll call vote.
Oh, I'm sorry. Louis Fiore,
Just wanted to make sure everyone was in favor with the amendment. Yep, 4.
Linda DeGray,
4.
Virginia Higley,
4.
Francis Salimo,
4.
Kenneth Helinski,
4.
and John Petronella, 4, and Nick Lefakis.
4.
The record showed that passed unanimously, 7-0, with Commissioner LaFakis stepping in for Commissioner Majmundar. Thank you very much, gentlemen. You're all set.
You should have two different votes.
Oh, you're right. You're absolutely right. Yeah. Yeah.
That was,
Yeah.
that was.
Right, you're
waiver.
right. Thank you. You're up. See, I'm thinking ahead.
And now, Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve public hearing number 3031 for special use permit. I'm sorry, I'm I have the
3032.
wrong one here, 3032.
Yeah, 32.
You get the number right.
Excuse me. Sorry, folks. Where did I put you? Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah, motion to approve public hearing number 3032, 7 Angina Drive application requesting for a two-lot re-subdivision, Roby Realty LLC, applicant owner, map 82, lot 56, industrial 1 zone.
Motion made by Commissioner Petronella. Is there a second? Seconded by Commissioner DeGray. Any discussion on it? Seeing none, roll call, please. Whenever you're ready, go ahead. Give you a second to get yourself.
Okay, Louis Fiore.
4.
Linda DeGray.
4.
Virginia Higley.
4.
Francis Alimo.
4.
Kenneth Alinsky.
4.
John Petronella is 4, and Nick Lefakis.
4.
The record shows unanimous, 7-0. You should be all set.
Good evening.
Yep.
Enjoy the weekend, everyone.
Thank you. You too. Be safe. Thank you.
There it is, right on the bottom.
Yeah, it was combined with the other one, yeah.
Yeah, sorry. I
that
jumped the
one's
gun on
there.
that one.
I thought you could combine them.
Okay, now,
But the record showed that Commissioner Majumdar is back and seated at 7:31.
this is Gonzo Retail.
Whenever you're ready, John.
You're all set for the
Yep,
next one?
PH 3033, yes.
Okay, the Enfield Planning and Zoning Commission will hold public hearings at the regular meeting on Thursday, April 14, 2022, at 7 p.m. in the Town Council Chambers, 820 Enfield Street, Enfield, Connecticut, concerning the following application. Public hearing number 3033, 95 High Street, special use permit application to host a special event. Cadberto Chavez applicant, Molina's Plaza LLC, owner, map 25, lot 6, TD5 zone.
Is the applicant or representative here? I don't believe the applicant or representative is here.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
this is a pretty straightforward special event permit. They've had it last year, and again, as far as outdoor dining and the extended liquor, they fall under COVID restrictions, but this way they can have this for future years without having to come back before the commission.
Yeah, absolutely. Makes a lot of
If
sense.
you have any questions, I could try to answer them. I mean, it's pretty straightforward.
I think everyone's here. Is there anyone in the public to speak for or against this application? Anyone in the public speak for or against this application? Anyone in the public speak for or against that? Seeing none, staff is, commission, you guys are all set?
Yep.
On this particular one?
Are they Laura, are they putting the patio in there, or going to stay? or
It's on the south side of the building.
I'm looking at
There's a
the
green
drawing here,
area.
yeah. It's-
Yeah.
Yep. Is it going to stay? Are they going to use it other than the Cinco de Mayo? They could use it, right?
Oh, yeah, they
Yeah.
theoretically could, yeah.
Great, great. Thank you.
Yes, Commissioner Linsky.
Yeah, I saw they're having the mariachi band from 5 to 8, but it also says the event will be open during their normal business hours. Do you happen to know what they are? I didn't see them in there. I mean, is it going to run real late? or
I
is it-
I think they close at 10, but I'm not positive.
Okay.
So I think that the intent is the band will stop before they actually close.
Oh, yeah, the band says the band is 5 to 8, so
Yeah.
they're done at 8. And I was just wondering how long they were going to go on.
I think because of all the residential
Yeah.
buildings in
And
the
then
area.
they're well aware of the tent restriction? The small tent, they can only use the small tents?
That's a building code issue, yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Yeah, basically, if I can, on the letter we did receive from the Commissioner Linsky, it does specifically state that the mariachi band will only be playing from 5 to 8.
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
But then elsewhere it says during business hours or hours of operation. I was just wondering how long, is the event done at 8, but I guess it's okay.
Okay. Commissioner Higley?
I just have a question on the liquor license. I assume that this is just for one day, that they're doing it outside, but the liquor license says it's just for patio. So is this
Right.
something that they can use afterwards?
So they could use this event, they could have this event on the 5th of May every
Yep.
year with the liquor license extended. Right now, it's extended due to COVID regardless of
Yes.
the day.
Yes, okay, thank you.
Okay, is there a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Petronella, seconded by Commissioner Helinski to close the public hearing. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve public hearing number 3033 in conformance with the town resolution dated April 14th, 2022, along with the 26 conditions listed.
Thank you. Is there a second? Seconded by Commissioner Majmudar. Thank you very much. Any discussion? The motion to approve has been done and is seconded. Roll call, please.
Louis Fiore.
4.
Linda DeGray.
4.
Virginia Higley.
4.
Francis Alimo.
4.
Kiran Majmudar.
4.
Ken Helinski.
4.
John Petronella is 4.
Let the record show that this was passed unanimously, 7-0. Don't worry, we'll take it. You'll notify them, or someone in the office will let them know. Thank you. Whenever you're ready, John,
All
for
right.
3035.
Yep. The Enfield Planning and Zoning Commission will hold public hearings at the regular meeting of Thursday, April 14, 2022 at 7 p.m. in the Town Hall Council Chambers, 820 Enfield Street, Enfield, Connecticut, concerning the following application. Public hearing number 3035, 37 Sandpiper Road, special use permit application for an accessory apartment. Michelle Canavari, applicant, owner, map 89, lot 15, R44 zone.
Thank you. Is the applicant or their team here to make a presentation or discuss with us a little? Good, how are you? Please come on up and identify yourself for the record, and please just make sure the mic is on. Thank you.
There you go. Greg Boswell, Ace Carpentry, 31 Moody Road. So I have a plan drawn out for a customer who had a permit started, I think it was in '94, by her late husband. Went all the way to framing inspection and never went further. Permit got closed out, so we're trying to finish off her project for her. So her daughter's moving in to take care of her. So she kind of wants her own living quarters on the second floor. And this is kind of what we're doing. Other than that, I mean, it's not going to have a separate entrance, not a separate address. It's just basically a space for her daughter while she's taking care of her mother. And I don't know if you guys have the plan. I know I sent 14 of them or something.
I think I'll have the plan, yes. Is there anything else you'd like to add to, right, no, you're not going to go away, so anything else you'd like to add?
I mean, that's pretty much the gist of the project. I mean, I can answer any questions you guys would have. I mean, we're not framing anything out. The structure is what it is. We're just basically finishing the inside of the house.
Questions from the commission? I'll give you a couple seconds. I mean, to sum it up, this is not what I would call an in-law apartment. It's almost a reverse.
Yeah. Well, so the plan is eventually the house is going to be turned over to the daughter.
Hold on, excuse me. Hey, Ken, your thing's hitting.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. So eventually, the house is going to be turned over to the daughter. You know, so that's kind of the project. She just wants to stay there while her mother, you know, because her husband, you know, passed away 3 years ago. So the daughter moved in, and she kind of wants her own space. She's in her 30s. You know, kind of. I don't think she wants to hang out with her mom and stuff when she's got people over. So
when I looked at the schematic that you provided for us, it seems to be that, generally speaking, the only thing you're adding is up on the second floor is a kitchen per se.
Correct.
Everything else is pretty much already in place.
Yep.
The addition,
a bathroom too.
Maybe a bathroom. Yeah. And the addition downstairs is already in. That space upstairs is already basically created, a lot of it.
Yep.
And there is no exterior entrance. Everything is coming up through the house.
Exactly. Yep.
Okay. Thank you. Commissioners, questions from anybody in the commission? Commissioner Petronella.
One observation is I see the only real separation here is a pocket door.
At the bottom of the
so
stairs.
it's basically, it's more a shared space than it is a separated apartment, so forth. But, other than that, I don't have any other issues.
I mean, really, other than the kitchen, it's almost like a shared space. Yeah.
Yeah. Correct. Yeah. Correct. She already occupies one of the bedrooms there, so
Right.
we're just trying to create something else for her.
Yeah.
Okay.
They use it, they both were going to use the exercise room in the second level, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, I think one other change is we're moving the laundry from the basement to the first floor. So that's, other than that, the downstairs pretty much stays the same too.
Any other questions from the commissioners? Would staff, you have any comments on this particular application, Laurie?
I think they're just going above and beyond getting a permit for this, because we probably would have allowed it, but.
Okay. Is there anyone in the public to speak for this or against this application? I'm good. I have a three. Anyone to speak for or against this application? Anyone to speak for or against? Seeing none. And the reason why I'm chuckling, everybody's here knows there's no one in the audience, but I'm saying it anyway, so. Yeah, one applicant, yes. Sorry, yes. I knew you were the applicant, another applicant. Staff, any more questions from the commission at all? Anything else you'd like to add, sir?
No, I'm all set.
Seeing that, I'll entertain a motion to close this public hearing. Motion made by Commissioner Majumdar, seconded by Commissioner Limo to close this public hearing. All those in favor?
Aye.
The record show is unanimous to close this public hearing. Seeing there's no discussion, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve public hearing number 3035 in conformance with the resolution prepared by staff dated April 14th, 2022, with the 24 conditions listed.
Thank you. Is there a second? Seconded by Commissioner Helinski. Motion made by Commissioner Petronella, seconded by Commissioner Helinski. Any discussion? Seeing none, whenever you're ready, roll call, please.
Louis Fiore.
Approve.
Linda DeGray.
4.
Virginia Higley.
4.
Francis Alimo.
4.
Kiran Majmudar.
4.
Kenneth Helinski.
4.
And John Petronella is 4.
The record shows unanimous 7-0, sir. You're all set.
All right, thank you guys. Enjoy your night.
You too. Have a good holiday. I'd like to entertain a motion that we take SPR 1889 next ahead of item A, since no one's here for item A, since this gentleman's nice enough to wait for us. Is there a motion to change the agenda?
So moved. Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Helinski, second by Commissioner Higley to change the order of our new business so that we're going to do item B, SPR 1889 next. So I think it's 189, or did I maybe make a yeah, 9. This is a site plan review from, you want me to, go ahead, John.
Yep. Excuse me. A site plan review, 1889-95 Elm Street, site plan modification for retail space with outdoor storage. Mark Swiderski, applicant, Ocean State Job Lot, Eventfield LLC owner, map 43, lot 1, BR zone.
Thank you. Good evening, sir. If you can identify yourself, please, for the record. I think you need to pull the mic a little close to you. Make sure it's on.
Is that on? Yeah. Mark Swiderski, Construction Project Manager for Ocean State Job Lot.
Thank you.
So what we're proposing to do here is Ocean State Job Lot bought 95 Elm Street Plaza, and we are going to relocate our gorgeous store that currently exists at 25 Hazard Avenue over into this plaza. So we're going to, we'd like to occupy the 30,000 square foot Best Buy, which is separated by a 5,200 square foot former liquor store, and we want to remove that wall to increase the square footage to 35,198. With that, we are also proposing to, like the Hazard Ave location, we will have flowers out front. It will be not underneath the canopy that exists over the former liquor store. And also we will be selling Blue Rhino propane. In the inside of the store, we'll have energy-efficient LED lighting. It's going to have polished concrete floors. It's going to look a whole lot better than what we have there today on Hazard Avenue. And that's why I'm here before you today.
Thank you. Questions for the commissioners?
I have a question.
Commissioner Helinski?
Yeah, I noticed there have been some significant environmental issues with the next, I believe it's the liquor store side of it.
There are, so I'm not 100% up on all of that. So there is some remediation going on and has been for quite some time.
Yeah, I noticed that. I was just wondering if you had any further plans to look at it, or if you were concerned about it, or any of that.
We had We had an extensive hazardous material investigation done, as we always do when we buy these plazas.
Okay.
So, yes, we know what we're up against, and there's,
I
complete
mean, it
comfort
looks like
level.
it's well under control from what.
Yes, from what I understand, that is correct.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Yes.
Commissioner DeGray?
Sorry. You're going to be storing propane tanks, and you say with protective barriers. What kind of barriers? What kind of bollards?
It's, there are, what usually consists of 4 concrete jersey barriers that are about a little bit less than the width of this table, and they're brought on site and dropped next to the storage tanks.
I had a quick question. In one of the letters I have here, basically, you are going to be removing the automobile bays?
Correct. Both roll-up doors to the automobile bays will be removed and blocked with a concrete block to match existing.
Yeah, so you're basically going to, what I would say, wall it in, I guess.
Correct.
And, no question. You answered my question here in the application, sorry. Any other questions? Just a quick question for me. Any idea if we were to approve this, your timeline?
So in speaking with Scott and Ray, they said that they don't issue a demolition permit, but they issue a tenant improvement permission. So my bids from the general contractors are due today. They came in at 2. I haven't seen them yet. So one is right here in Connecticut. One is out of New Jersey / Pennsylvania. Both have stipulated, have said that they're going to start immediately, possibly Monday, to start tearing down and doing the demolition as they're reviewing our drawings that are in for permit. They said that's okay.
Right, because even though this application is just for this particular area, the owner now owns basically this whole plaza from this end all the way down to Coles, correct?
Correct.
Which kind of leads me to Commissioner Helinski's question about the old contamination that was there from the dry cleaners many years ago. And I think I read here in one of the letters that has been signed off, I think, at this point. If I'm not correct. It's been remediated.
The DEP. Yeah.
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
So that's really a closed issue, I think, Commissioner Helinski, at this point.
Yeah, I just wanted to-
Oh, okay. Okay, I wasn't sure if you saw that. Okay, no problem. Any other questions? Yep, Commissioner Lama?
Just to follow up on the new ownership, the land there, does that include the outbuildings as well, the McDonald's, the store, the shoe store? Is that part of the plaza as well?
I'm not 100% sure of that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
If I may, I don't believe McDonald's is part of it, but the shoe store is its own entity. But I'm not sure about that one either. But I don't
'Cause a lot
think
of those
McDonald's is. Those are separate parcels up front.
There are parts, yeah, 'cause a lot of those places, they're land leases and the buildings,
Yeah.
it's all part of one
The
property.
shoe store it does have its own lot lines around it, but I don't know whether it's leased or owned.
Okay, just, thank you.
The other question I have is just out of curiosity, when you look at your outdoor sales that take it in the front instead of on the side, I couldn't quite tell from the schematic that you sent. Is that going to be lined up with the barriers with Chicago Sam's? For instance, is that all going to be barriered off?
No. So there's 2 cages. You typically see them in gas stations.
Yeah.
So there's 2 Blue Rhino cages with the jersey barriers. The footprint is fairly small, as you can see on that fixture plan.
Yeah, that's why I couldn't really find it. Yeah, all right, so it's not going to be aligned with the Chicago Sam barriers?
No.
Okay, and those are, as far as you know, those are staying in place, correct?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay.
Outdoor seating, yeah.
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
the outdoor storage will be up to and against the structure itself, the front. So it's within the 12-foot sidewalk.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Higley?
I don't have a question, I have an observation. I think it's great that Ocean State has decided to, 1, stay in town, and 2, use an existing unused building and bring it back and make it a shining star. So thank you from me to you.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, I can't tell you how many times I've been in the Hazard Ave location because I wanted to do all kinds of stuff, and then ownership would say, no, we're trying to get out of here. We're trying to buy something so that we can just vacate the lease. And the whole time I was in that store, I was, I wanted to just close my eyes. Very tight and very ugly.
The privilege of the chair. I know I asked you about timeline to start. Would you happen to know the timeline where the job lot would like to open up for business? And if you don't have to answer, please.
Yeah, no. I'm the one who put together that schedule. I'm tracking July, I want to say July 14th.
Wow, that's aggressive.
Yeah, we always are.
That's aggressive. Wow. Commissioner DeGray, you're not getting.
Just out of curiosity, because I like your stores, is this like a model that you're going to get bigger stores? Most of your stores are very small, and I'm just...
That is the new model. So currently I am in Warminster, Pennsylvania, and I'm building a store there. It opens up April 28th. It's 56,356 feet. Used to be an old Acme supermarket. In fact, when we bought it, we had our real estate guy who does tenant Planet Fitness, Harbor Freight Tools. Those are a lot of Dollar Tree. Those are a lot of our tenants in the plazas that we own. And the merchants kicked that, we need to get another tenant in here, like a Planet Fitness. We have to reduce that 56,000. We can't fill it. And he fought back and said, this is not going to work for any other tenant than Ocean State Job Lot, to which the owner said, make it work. So that's going to be the largest store in the chain. But yeah, typical footprint these days is around 42 to 46.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Masvidal?
Yeah, just a quick question. Compared to the existing facility on Hazard Avenue, is this going to be about a third larger or 2 times larger?
I knew somebody was going to ask me that. I believe it's going to be bigger, but I just don't know how much bigger.
Okay.
I knew somebody was going to ask me that question.
On Hazard Avenue is quite cramped.
Yes, it is. Yes.
And you'll have better parking in this facility also.
Yes.
For sure.
Yeah.
Any other questions from the commission? Any other questions from the commission? Seeing none, looks to me like we were in a pretty good position, so I would entertain a motion to approve.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve site plan review number 1889 in conformance with the resolution prepared by staff dated April 14th, 2022, with the 18 conditions listed.
Is there a second on the motion? Seconded by Commissioner DeGray. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, Mr. Secretary, whenever you're ready, we'll have a roll call.
Louis Fiore.
4.
Linda DeGray.
4.
Virginia Higley.
4.
Francis Alimo.
4.
Kiran Majmudar.
4.
Kenneth Alinsky.
4.
And John Petronella is 4.
The record showed it was unanimously voted. You're all set, sir, and good luck with the project.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night, everyone.
You too. Have a good luck and good holiday.
Oh, yeah.
Let's give Lori a second.
Place to open.
Take care. Okay, now we're on to item A, which we've changed the agenda, the 824 referral. And Lori, do we have to read does poor John have to read the resolution?
No, not at all. That's just so you can see what the town council is looking at. So
Yep.
basically, the owner, if you have this map in front of you?
Yeah, yes, we do.
So Ronnie Salas has actually taken over this property and is renovating it. He's gutted the entire building. He's going to make it into 4 apartments and retail on the bottom, which he has approval for. The adjacent properties are actually, well, the one that says Salas, that's kind of to the right of the main property, the little kind of octagon here, or the rectangle here. His deed research shows that it's his property. We can't prove that it is ours or not, but we would like to be able to offer it to him as a quitclaim or something of that nature. And then the area in blue, town of Enfield and Salas, is actually just left of our community gardens and is used for parking now for that site. But even though it's owned by the town, we would have to actually traverse over his property to get to it. We don't really need it, and the town council is interested in doing some sort of a transfer so he can utilize this for parking, which is certainly going to help our TOD district immensely. So this is just a request for the, I'm sorry, this wire's under my chair. This is a request such that the Planning and Zoning Commission give the town council hopefully a positive referral so that they can transfer these properties, whether it be lease or sale or otherwise.
Thank you. And as the chair, as most of you are probably aware, we these types of transactions, they actually have to get our referral, as you all know, by town charter and then probably by state statute also. So.
Right. The 824 is Connecticut General Statute 8-24.
Right. Very familiar, if I may. I know Mr. Limo is also. We're very familiar with this area.
And I got something to add.
Sure.
Being your representative, liaison to TIF, I've sat on TIF. This gentleman is before us with a TIF application pending, and we're going over it. But get to see the conceptual drawing and what he has in mind to do down there, and I think it's going to be amazing. So I would recommend or urge my colleagues here to go ahead and approve this, because it is, like Lori was saying, it's going to be a big improvement to the Main Street, Pearl Street area there.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. I just one of the beginning things that we're going to be doing in this area.
Yeah, it was nice to see a very young, motivated gentleman who bought the property, and he also owns the property across the street where you're familiar with the old T-ville drugstore.
Yeah.
He owns that whole corner there. And
Thompsonville Hotel.
The old town, yeah, right,
Not the
exactly. That's
drugstore.
he owns that as well.
Remember the Thompsonville Hotel very well.
I think it's a very good move in the right direction, anticipating our train stop and all the other goodies we have going on in Thompsonville. So I'm fortunate to be the liaison and get to see some of these things as well. So I think it's good.
Yep, thank you. And thank you for saving me having to expound on it. Thank you. Any other discussion on this or any questions? Seeing none, is there a motion to approve this? And we'll do a roll call vote to approve this referral. Motion made by Commissioner Higley, seconded by Commissioner DeGray to approve this. And now we will make a formal with a roll call vote if the secretary doesn't mind, please. To accept this referral or pass on this referral to the town council.
I think the wording might be that to send a positive referral for the transfer of property.
The motion was made and seconded to send a positive referral to the Enfield Town Council for this transaction. No, we don't have to read it. Just a roll call.
Okay, Lou Fiore?
4.
Linda DeGray?
4.
Virginia Higley?
4.
Francis Alamo?
4.
Kiran Majmudar?
4.
Ken Helinski?
4.
And John Petronella is 4.
Thank you. Let the record show is unanimous for this referral. No, there is no old business. On other business, I would ask someone to please take item A, food truck regulations, off the table, please. Motion made by Commissioner DeGray, seconded by Commissioner Higley to take item A off the table. All those in favor?
Aye.
I'm seeing that the COVID regulation extension was passed and signed by the governor. There's actually no need for us to continue with this, so I would ask for a motion be made and seconded to remove this from the agenda, please. Motion made by Commissioner Majmudar, seconded by Commissioner Limo to remove item A from the other business since we got a year reprieve on this. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Let us show that it was unanimous to remove item A, food truck, off the agenda, Lori. Correspondence. Commissioners' correspondence. Well, I do have something. Yeah, I do have something I'd like to add. Just, Lori, please, help me out here. Just want to mention to everyone, Commissioner Majmudar and I haven't been giving you a POCD update because there really hasn't been much to give you an update on. But I do want to recommend to everyone and anyone who's watching that next week, I think it's Thursday, at Fermi is going to be a. It's not a meeting per se, but an informational workshop where the public is invited to give an input into the planning of conservation and development going forward. We're just starting now to get to the meat of that. So I highly recommend commissioners, please, I haven't been giving you an update because like I said, there hasn't really been much to give. Any ideas or anything you want, please, send Karan and I an email with your ideas or call us on the phone, so we certainly want to include you. But I also, please feel free to join us next. Well, Ginny, you'll probably be there too. You're inland wetlands rep. So please feel free to come next Wednesday night. The public's going to have a chance. You probably want to hear that. And it's the next step in the process. Anything you want to add on that, Lori? Or?
Just for clarification, it's next Thursday, April 21st at 6:30 p.m. Probably it'll last about an hour and a half. The public will be welcome to comment after the little presentation, and it's going to be at the Annex Auditorium.
Thank you. Commissioner Lyon, you had something you wanted to add too?
Just for an update, I know we had that application before us at our last meeting with the AAA and the mall. I did observe that it appears the mall people started to do their portion. I noticed we had a concern about timeliness and
Bless you.
so I did see them starting to work, which is a good sign. So hopefully the AAA gets up and going and we have a new business in our town. Looks like it's going to be a pretty exciting place.
Based on that, if I may, the last big rainstorm we had, I also happened to notice that the water went over the top of that retaining
Oh,
pond.
did you? I didn't see it. Really?
Yes, I did.
Wow.
And
But that is supposed to happen.
Yes.
I mean, it's a detention, it detains it, but it's supposed to have a high overflow if possible, so.
just like Cranbrook.
It's still going to be in the floodplain.
Yes,
No matter
yes,
what.
yeah.
But, you know, that's a larger issue that needs to be addressed
Yes.
along that brook. And
Yes.
actually, underneath 91, when they widened that, they never made that culvert bigger. I'm
point.
very familiar with the
Good point.
problems from the college all the way down to the river. I'm
Yep.
very familiar with all the issues.
Used to skate
We
it.
are actually in the middle of, or
Did you do
towards
that?
the end of a study of the needs assessment for that watershed and the flooding.
There's two choke points. There's actually one right here on the corner of High Street.
Yep.
And there's another one under the highway, because when they widened that highway, all that water, and they never increased the size of the culverts underneath the highway. So that's going to be a state and federal, and it's a big, and we know government moves slowly, so hopefully it gets resolved. But it is an issue.
How
We
about
can-
on the railroad and then the street below it?
I'm sorry?
How about the exit
Well-
discharge point near Connecticut River on that side? There's also a problem there.
Yeah, it's wide at the mouth, obviously, but I think the state now is going to be repairing the bridge over on top of North River Street very soon.
Yeah.
So I think they'll address anything under that culvert that's going to need to be done.
Yeah.
But, you know, from there, it's pretty clean from, the Asnuttic Street down. It's
back.
pretty wide behind the Grays Club. And,
Yeah,
But, going out all the way to the college.
That we did redevelopment, that got improved somewhat.
Improved it, yeah,
somewhat.
it did, somewhat.
Somewhat.
But, everything that's been added out in the Elm Street area, which was farms when we were growing up.
Aggravated the problem.
Yeah, it's nothing, they never really improved that waterway. So hopefully,
That's added runoff rather than seeping into the ground where all the pavement is.
exactly.
But there are a lot of dead trees that have fallen into it
Mm-hmm.
between Route 5 and going east that probably should be addressed.
I agree. Yeah, but it's always lacked maintenance. And, as you know, I've, being on the fire department for 36 years, we've had a lot of incidences over the years down behind there, all the way up through, and never really got the proper attention. I don't know if it needs the Army Corps of Engineers but it definitely needs proper attention to be dredged or widened or maintained, and culvert widening, and so hopefully that, we can see that get done.
I think it's starting, some of that's being addressed in the POCD.
Good.
Not sure all of it, but some of it is.
Good.
Has been brought
I mean,
up.
it's an issue.
Yes, it is.
There's been flooding on Lynch Terrace and O'Hare.
Yeah. For 20, 30 years, 40 years.
I mean,
Yeah.
forever.
Yeah.
We had to bring boats, we had to rescue people with boats down here. I
Yeah.
know it was 2005, I
Yeah,
think it
the
was.
2005 one.
Yeah, I mean, it's been my whole career, down at the fire department, my 36 years, there was always issues. And I was obviously on the fire department before 91 got widened, and all that water had to go somewhere. Because it used to be, if you remember, it used to be a gully, before they had that third lane. It was actually a natural retention area for all that water.
Yep.
So the only good thing that retention area did, that trench did, was save everybody when that gasoline truck blew up. Because it actually flipped into that ravine, into that V there, and the gasoline stayed there. That was the only good thing.
Director of Development Service Report?
The one big thing I have for you is that we hired a new assistant town planner.
Hey.
His name is Matt Davis, and he is my age. So he has been around for a while, as I have. He comes with a wealth of knowledge, and I don't have to train him.
And he's starting Monday?
He started today.
Today, all right.
Where is he? He missed his.
I wasn't
I'm
going to
only
make
kidding.
him come to a meeting on his first day. This is not fair. And there was no need for him to, you'll meet him, trust me.
Yeah.
So he's going to be a great addition to the staff.
Great.
So, and we're already talking about changes we could do and stuff, so.
It's fantastic work. That's great.
So I'm very, very elated that we have
That's awesome.
them.
Yeah.
And it's all about customer service, too, right? You want to be
Yeah.
able to get the people in and out, get their applications
That's
through, so
right.
God bless you.
All right, we're going to move on. Okay, administrative approval report. We noticed there's some things.
Yeah.
It's okay.
I guess that's me too, huh? So.
It's okay.
Yeah, so we had an administrative approval just for 2 electric charging stations at the Stop and Shop, so it really didn't take any room up. And also for a physical therapy office over at Hazardville Hotel. She was taking over, I think it's like 600 square feet of a retail space and an office space, so it was kind of a moot point. And then we just have a number of applications to be received, and I know that there's more coming. Public hearing 3024 at 100 Elm. That is a request for an addition of a deli. Public hearing 3034 MA, I'm sorry.
Is that the current Noble project?
No.
No, okay.
Public hearing 3034 MA 17, I don't think that is. No.
No, it's way down
No,
before
no,
that.
no.
Yeah, way down
So,
before that.
3034 MA, which is a map amendment to change the what used to be the Burlington Coat Factory site that's partially in East Windsor and partially in Enfield. They would like to change that to an I zone because they want to make it a self-storage place, and that's the only zone that's permitted. 3037, 50 Weymouth Road, special use permit for the farm brewery. So this is why we actually came up with all those regulations. We finally have the application for a farm brewery, which will be fun. Public hearing 3038, 370 North Maple Road. This is part of the Mayfield development. They want to replace the proposed berm with a solid vinyl fence, and because it was a special permit and there was some controversy of it, we wanted them to come back in and present it. If it was something minor, we probably would have tried to just do something in-house, but it needed to come back to public hearing. And SPR 1888, which is 140 to 148 Hazard Avenue. And this is Trinity Health Center, if you're familiar with it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, unfortunately,
They're
very,
going
very
to tear
familiar.
down the one building and replace it with a 2-story brand-new building. So,
So as far as you know, they want to actually tear the cancer center down, not pop an addition on top?
The building in the back.
no, this is the building as you enter the facilities to the left.
Oh, to the left, not the
first one.
cancer
Yeah.
center, the
No.
first one.
That's the original one.
The original
The
one.
original one.
The original one, not the cancer
So it's
center.
just antiquated at this point, and they want to update it, so they're literally going to stay in that facility, and there's room to build another one right next to it, and then they'll demolish the first one.
Okay.
Hopefully I get my traffic light addressed.
State issue, state road.
I know, well, I will hope.
And also, we do have something else most likely on the agenda you don't have here. We probably are going to have another public hearing next meeting, the cannabis public hearing.
Oh, right, yes. Yes, the public hearing for marijuana will happen next.
Is that on the schedule for next week?
That's
Yes.
scheduled for the 28th.
Yes.
Yep. And there might be one other one, but I can't remember what.
Cannabis public, because we're changing, we're adding new regulations, we're adding a new section. We have to have a public hearing on that. Yeah, it already went to CROG, Kenny, so now it's coming back for us to have the public hearing.
So, Mr. Chair, I was just thinking about, we've had there was a lot of involvement, a lot of engagement throughout the summer with that. And you think it's worth thinking about having that at Fermi? Will we be able to accommodate? Do you think it's going to be as?
I think we can accommodate it here.
Okay.
Yeah, I really do. I think
I
we
know
can
they've been
accommodate
using
here.
Fermi for.
Yeah, I think we can accommodate it here, Commissioner Limon, and we accommodated the Win Stanley
Yeah,
public
yeah.
hearings, the 8 hours of public hearings. And the first one, we had a lot of people,
Right,
so we can always open up downstairs if we have to.
Yeah.
I think it'll be fine here.
Good, okay.
That's
Just throwing
that's
it
my-
out there in case.
No, thank you
so
for
everybody
asking.
can get in and.
I think it'll be fine.
Good.
Commissioner DeGray?
Just, because we have so much coming up on as public hearings, wouldn't it be better to have that as a separate public hearing? Because it may have quite a few people, and I'm just asking. You're the chair.
Yes,
We kind of talked about it, and, you know, I think that it might take, you know, maybe it might be an hour. I just don't think that it's going to be as, you know, it's not like there's a lot of information to review and
Right,
submit.
I'm just, because
I
there are
mean, we
thinking
were
the same
kind
thing,
of
yeah.
vacillating about that too, but.
Right, and to be honest with you, people have to come in this public hearing and talk about something that's specifically in our regulation that we're proposing. They can't come here and talk about, I think marijuana is bad for people.
Right.
I think it has undue consequences. That's not what this board is for. People have that complaint or that concern, they need to go back to the town council.
Right, I'm just.
I am going to be limiting it, just like I did with Win Stanley,
you.
to what's pertinent to our regulation. You saw how I did Win Stanley.
I was thinking
I'll do the
just
same
kind of on
here.
the same lines,
Thank you.
because there was so much involvement, you know, last summer. That's why I raised the Fermi, so we have enough room.
I totally understand your concern.
Yeah.
Believe me.
Certainly valid concerns, and we kind of vacillated back and forth about it, but.
I'm great.
That's okay.
You're good. We're good.
You're
Giving it a lot of thought, and I will be prepared.
Just throwing it out there.
Thank you.
Very good. Thank you for,
That's I'm here to help you guys. You know.
You do a good job.
No, thank you.
well, the last thing we need is people say, oh, we didn't get to talk, but you did a great job with the Win Stanley. But it took us 2 meetings,
We'll
but,
do this, and if we do get bombarded,
we could extend it.
we can extend it.
Right.
Now, hopefully
Yeah.
that's not the case, and
Yeah.
I'm going to control it like we did in Win Stanley. They have to talk about what's in our regulation proposal.
Because, you know, like we just seen what's coming up other than that. You know,
It's
we
a
have a
busy
large
night.
agenda.
It will be a busy night.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
No doubt, it will be a busy night. Yeah. Any other business? Any other opportunities and unresolved issues?
Move to adjourn.
A motion made by Commissioner Higley, seconded by Commissioner DeGray to adjourn. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. The show is unanimous to adjourn our meeting at 8:12. Thank you very much.
Early tonight.